Let's talk more about this. Ben Aris is the founder and editor-in-chief of BNE IntelliNews. Ben is now joining us from Berlin. We also have our correspondent, Susan Teherani, in New York. I'll begin with you, Ben. Welcome to the program. Several leaders have condemned this assassination attempt. We are still receiving condemnations from across the world. Moments ago, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz was addressing a gathering. Do you have any information about what the Chancellor said?
No, I'm afraid not. And other than the press spokesman has said that they condemned the attack, and the response throughout Europe, within Slovakia itself and across the political spectrum, both supporters of Fico and the opposition have condemned this as an act of political violence, which they've said is unacceptable. For example, the main opposition party was going to have a protest scheduled for later today against some reforms going on with the state TV, and they've cancelled that in solidarity. So it's been fairly uniform that the condemnation from all sides has been universal against this attempted assassination attempt.
All right, Susan, we understand that the U.S. First Lady Jill Biden was to embark on a two-nation tour, including Slovakia. Do we know what the trip was about, and have we had any update from Jill Biden's office regarding any changes to the plan of this trip?
So the First Lady was planning on making this four-day world tour, not only to Slovakia, but Romania as well, to meet with Ukrainian refugees. There are about 380,000 of them in Slovakia. And while, First Ladies will not really talk policy or politics, she was expected to meet with U.S. personnel as well as those refugees. Now, with this incident, it's yet to be seen whether or not she'll curtail those plans or make arrangements around it. We do know that she was planning on meeting with the First Lady of Romania, but other than that, we're waiting for updates to see what happens with her trip.
Ben, coming back to you, Fico is widely considered and regarded as a populist leader. He doesn't like immigration. He's not known to, support some things that the media does in his country. He's known for making controversial statements. But people in his country are saying that politicians all across the country should unite and show a unified face. Do you think this will happen, or your reactions to that?
Well, Slovakia is in a difficult position, and since Fico came into power, in so much as it was very much polarized by the election, that he remains a left-wing populist politician, but he's been drifting towards Russia and tied up with Orbán, the Hungarian prime minister, who was also relatively pro-Russia. And this has divided the country very much, because Slovakia is very much an EU country, and the population are pro-EU, they're pro-support Ukraine, and Fico has been cooling on that. He's been talking to Moscow about gas deals, and he's condemned the war in Ukraine, which he says should stop. However, he does support Ukraine's eventual membership of the EU. And this has introduced a lot of tension into the country. When he won in the elections in October, he won, but with less than 50%, and was forced into a coalition. And this tension has been in society. I think at the moment, in the face of the assassination attempt, everybody's condemned that and said that's unacceptable. However, I don't think in the broader picture, when this passes, and presumably he recovers, that it's going to unify the country. Those tensions will remain. It does look like he's going to recover. The latest reports we've seen say that his condition is stable, although he was very severely hurt, taking at least one bullet in the stomach, and as well as several others, 5 shots fired in total, of which 4 reportedly hit him, 1 being life-threatening.
Susan, we've had so many reactions from world leaders, including the President of the United States, Joe Biden. What did he say?
Yeah, the president was delivering remarks at the National Peace Officers Memorial Service at the U.S. Capitol building. He, of course, condemned the quote-unquote horrific act of violence after the shooting of the Slovak prime minister. He also said that our embassy is in close contact with the Slovak government, and he continues to receive updates.
All right, Ben, finally, this incident has shocked Europe because there hasn't been any case of assassinations or attempts to leaders in Europe for over 3 decades now. But what lessons can be learned from Fico's fate when it comes to security of presidents and prime ministers in Europe?
It's got to be tight. We're seeing in Europe a lurch towards the right, growing xenophobia due to the tensions. The economic situation has been difficult. I mean, some of the motives behind this attack that have been suggested is the economic hardship that was a result of first Corona and then the energy crisis and now the ongoing war. And then Europe has been flooded with millions of refugees. To Poland, Slovakia itself has just under 400,000. And these are introducing tensions into society that we haven't seen. And at the same time, the economic slowdown in Europe as a whole is putting more and more people under pressure. And I think that reflects on the politicians, their security, that the security teams are going to have to be a lot more careful because, there are people now who are starting to take action. The motives of this particular attacker are unsure. He's reported to be a 71-year-old man, some sort of writer. He was reported to be disorientated when he was arrested, so it may be some sort of mental problem here. But as I say, for security teams across the nation, across the EU, they're going to have to be more cautious, I think.
All right, our correspondent Susan Teherani in New York and Ben Aris, thank you both for talking to us today.
Thank you.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.